You've prayed, you've waited, you've asked, pleaded, cried, and still nothing. No voice, no sign, just silence. It can feel like abandonment, like maybe you're doing something wrong, like maybe God has turned his face away. But the silence of God is not the absence of God. It's not punishment. It's not distance. It's not disapproval. Sometimes silence is how he draws you deeper, not into more effort, but into more trust. Because real faith isn't proven when God speaks. It's proven when he doesn't, and you stay anyway. When you stay through the unanswered prayers, when you keep showing up with your questions, when you sit in the stillness and whisper, "Even here, I believe you're near." That is worship. That is relationship. Not built on feelings, but anchored in truth. Not fueled by constant emotion, but rooted in the unchanging nature of God. He is not quiet because he left. He is quiet because he is doing something deep, in you, around you, for you. So don't confuse silence with absence. The silence might be the space where your faith is being made unshakable. Sometimes what God is building in you can't be built with noise. Sometimes he clears the volume of life, so you can finally hear him not with your ears, but with your soul. Because God doesn't always speak in thunder. He often speaks in whispers, and you can't hear a whisper if you're moving too fast. The silence slows you down. It makes space. It brings stillness. And in that stillness, you start to notice things. You start to see how tightly you were holding on to control, how often your prayers were actually demands, how deeply you crave certainty over trust. And then you realize, maybe the silence isn't him withholding. Maybe it's him inviting you to rest, to breathe, to let go of the pressure to figure it out, to stop searching for the next answer, and start simply sitting with him. The silence becomes sacred when you stop trying to escape it. It becomes holy ground when you realize he's sitting in it with you. You may not feel him, but he's here, not because of your ability to hold on, but because of his promise that he never lets go. Think of Jesus in the garden. No crowds, no miracles, just darkness, just sweat like blood, just silence from heaven. Even the Son of God experienced the ache of divine quiet, but he stayed. He prayed. And in that silent night, the greatest surrender happened. Not with noise, but with trust. Not my will, but yours. That was whispered in silence, and it shook the gates of hell. So maybe what you call lack of progress is actually the most important part of the journey. Maybe your silence is sacred. Maybe your waiting is worship. You see, God is not looking for noise. He's not impressed with constant activity. He's drawn to surrender, to honesty, to a heart that says, "I don't understand, but I'm still here." That's what silence forms in us. Not performance, but presence. And if all you can do today is sit quietly and whisper, "God, I still believe you're with me," then you've already won more than you realize, because that is what the enemy fears most. Not your strength, but your stillness. Not your words, but your willingness to wait on God in the dark. What if the silence isn't a punishment, but preparation? What if this season, this quiet, this stillness, this in-between, isn't wasted time, but holy ground? Because here, in the absence of noise, your roots are growing deeper. You start leaning on faith, not feeling. You start praying not for performance, but for presence. You stop asking, "God, fix this," and start whispering, "God, form me." That shift, that heart-level surrender, is what transforms you. You may not get the answer today. You may not hear the voice you're longing for, but you are being shaped by the waiting, made strong in the quiet, formed in the pause. God is not rushing your process because He's not just preparing things for you, He's preparing you for them. And sometimes the preparation takes silence, stillness, trust. He's not absent, He's not late, He's not angry, He's near, and He's working quietly, deeply, faithfully. So stay in the silence. Stay even when it's uncomfortable. Stay until the whisper becomes a fire in your bones. Because one day you'll look back and see, this silence wasn't a void. It was a conversation. One only your soul could hear.